Email says financial advisors often tout structured notes as a good investment with significant potential upside combined with downside protection. The more I read, the more confused I get. They seem to me to be a combination of prop and parlay bets. I suspect the answer is that these products are created to be sold, not bought, but did want to better understand them. All right. Well, the first thing I had to do was understand your question. I'm not a gambler, so I didn't really know what prop and parlay bets are. But for those who also don't know, I'm going to explain this. I had to look it up. A prop bet, short for proposition, is essentially any sports bet that doesn't revolve around the winner or final score of the game. It's like you're betting on how long it's going to take the singer to do the national anthem, or whether the coin flip at the beginning of the game is going to be head or tails. That's a prop bet. And a parlay bet is simply combining a bet on the outcome of the game with some other prop, right? So maybe you're combining the outcome of the game with, whether the Giants, won the coin toss or not. That's what a prop and parlay bet is. It's a little hard for me to relate to structured notes, but I suppose there's some sort of relationship there. Here's the deal with structured notes. Structured notes are put together typically by a bank, sometimes by another investing company, and they're sold. Okay, so if your financial advisor is recommending structured notes, they're almost surely not a fee-only financial advisor. They're likely a commissioned salesperson masquerading as a financial advisor. So if your financial advisor is trying to sell you these things, you don't really have a financial advisor. Now, you need to go get a new advisor if you need advice, or learn how to do this on your own. It's like if your advisor is trying to sell you some index universal life insurance policy, right? They're an insurance agent. They're not a financial advisor, okay? Even though they're allowed by law to call themselves a financial advisor, that's really not what they are. Same thing if they're trying to sell you loaded mutual funds, right? If they're talking about A shares and B shares and C shares, not a financial advisor. You need to go get a real financial advisor, somebody who works only for fees. Most of them charge AUM fees, which are fine if you don't have that much in assets. Others charge hourly or, kind of an annual rate, some sort of a flat fee. But you need to understand how they're paid so you can understand whether you can trust their advice. But a structured note, the idea behind these is to, appeal to your psyche, right? People want the upside without the downside of investing. But risk and return are very closely connected when it comes to investing. Right? So we all know about index funds, right? An index fund gives you the market return. On average, the market, we're talking about US stock market over the last 100 years or whatever, has made approximately 10% a year. But it also sometimes crashes dramatically, goes down 40 or 50%. People don't like that. It doesn't feel good when the money you put in the stock market instead of doing a kitchen remodel disappears. And so they like to have some sort of downside protection so they can't lose all that money. And what a structured note is, it offers that. It gives you downside protection, right? You can only lose so much, or you can't lose any money. And how do they pay for that? Well, they reduce your expected return. So now instead of being able to make 10%, maybe you only are likely to make 6%, but they ensure that you can't lose money. Well, the problem with these things is the way they set them up is, in general, you're giving up too much in order to get the guarantees. And there also tends to be commissions and fees and complexity, and you can bet that that complexity does not favor you. So I think your initial assessment of structured notes is correct, that these are products made to be sold, not bought. And you can just avoid them completely, in my opinion. The problem is, if you want to understand every single one of them, you have to dive into them. Just like all these IUL policies, every one of them is unique. You can't compare them apples to apples. They've all got different terms and conditions, and you got to wade through them all. I think you're better off just avoiding them. And frankly, I would avoid those who sell them. So hopefully that's helpful to you about structured notes. Haven't owned any, don't plan to own any, etc.
The hosts of The White Coat Investor are not licensed accountants, attorneys, or financial advisors. This podcast is for your entertainment and information only. It should not be considered professional or personalized financial advice. You should consult the appropriate professional for specific advice relating to your situation.